Hello students, I am so sorry I can't be with you today. Today you are going to review one-step equations and words to expressions. And I want to help you get started and show you how I want you to do this. You did do one-step equations in 6th grade. We're going to do a quick review, but we're also going to be doing that with positives and negatives today. So if you will take a look, I'm going to do a couple of problems with you, if you will follow along and also write down the steps as we go. Let's look at L. You've got -9 plus m equals 20. Remember, our goal is to get m by itself on one side of the equal sign. So think about what we're doing here. We're adding -9 to m. We want to undo what's being done. We want this to be 0. So how do you get to 0? If you have -9, you are going to add +9. And remember, what you do to one side of the equal sign, you do to the other. Well, -9 plus 9 gives you 0. And you're just left with m equals, and 20 plus 9 is 29. Now you can do a quick check. If you put 29 in for m, -9 plus 29, that does equal 20, so it checks. And then you will simply find your answer down here, 29, and put in an L. Let's look at H. You've got t minus -1 equals 45. This is going to be simpler if you go ahead and add a line, change the sign, because this is the same thing as t plus 1 equals 45. Also, notice, let me bring this closer. Also, notice how I put a little curve on the end of my t so it doesn't look just like the plus sign. So now we're adding 1 to t. We want to undo that. We subtract 1 from both sides, and +1 minus 1 gives you 0. We are left with t equals 45 minus 1 is 44. If you look at y, you've got n minus 6 equals -50. That particular problem, the opposite of subtracting 6 would be adding 6. I may just go ahead and add 6 to both sides, and then you get n equals -50 plus 6 is -44. If you think of this problem, if you go ahead and add a line and change a sign, and you get n plus -6 equals -50, be careful here. The opposite of adding -6 would be adding a +6, because -6 plus 6 gives you 0. So in that case, n equals -50. I didn't add 6 to both sides. So plus 6, -50 plus 6 equals -44. So you can think of it, if I just have just a subtraction of a positive, n minus 6, I would just, the opposite of minus 6 is to add 6. These two, -6 plus 6 or minus 6 plus 6 gives you 0. The difference with this problem right here, we were subtracting a negative. That can be kind of confusing. In that case, I would go ahead and add a line, change the sign. You get t plus 1 and then subtract 1 from both sides. The word problems, be sure to write what the equation is, like in n, 12 less than a number, well then a number, that's your variable. 12 less than, careful there, it's 12 less than what? Well, it's 12 less than x, so you're going to have x minus 12 equals -75 and go from there. Okay, take a look at why did the outfielder join the orchestra? Let's look at a couple of these problems, and I'm going to show you how I want you to work them. Here, you've got -5. Y equals 60. Remember, you want to get y by itself. The opposite of the inverse of multiplying by -5 would be dividing by -5. I'm going to divide both sides by -5, and I'm going to show it just like that. On the left side, -5y divided by -5 just leaves you with y. And 60 divided by -5, and if you need to work it out, just do it out to the side. But 60 divided by -5 gives you -12. So find your answer, or let's see, your answer is over here, -12. We're going to go to number 10. and put an L because we had an L right here for the answer. So L, here's your answer, negative 12. Come down here and put an L. Look at T. You have negative 1/12 times T equals negative 3. Well, remember, we don't want this to be negative 1/12 D. We want it to be 1D. I'm going to go ahead and show you a shortcut for this one. You are multiplying D times negative 1/12. You can divide both sides by negative 1/12 and the left side be equal to D equals, and then you would have negative 3 divided by 1/12. But I'm going to show you a shortcut. Think about what do you multiply a number by to get 1? And any number to multiply by 1 to get it 1, you multiply by its reciprocal. So negative 1/12, the reciprocal would be negative 12 over 1, which equals negative 12 over positive 12 over 12. Negative times negative is a positive, which equals 1. So any number times a reciprocal gives you 1. So for this problem right here, we have negative 1/12 D equals negative 3. I can multiply both sides times the reciprocal, and you remember this, a number times its reciprocal is 1, or in this case 1D, and then we have negative 3 over 1 times negative 12 over 1. That would be positive 36 over 1, which is 36. So here's my answer. I'm going to find number 22 down here, and I'm going to put a T. If on this problem you had negative 1/12 D equals negative 3, you could have chosen just to divide both sides by negative 1/12. This would leave you with D, because any number divided by itself leaves you with 1. And then here, I'm going to do this out to the side, negative 3 divided by negative 1/12. We do our drop, change, flip, and you still get positive 36. So you can do that either way. The shortcut, however, is to multiply it by the reciprocal. One more problem, 2 more things I want to tell you. For D, be careful with your negative A. Remember, that's the same thing as a negative 1A. So, negative 1A divided by 25, the opposite of dividing by 25, multiplying by 25. Here, when you multiply 25 over 1 times negative 1A over 25, you're still left with your negative A, or negative 1A equals, and then 8 times 25 is 200. Well, I don't want to know what negative A is. I want to know what A is. Remember, same thing as negative 1A. Divide both sides by negative 1. A equals 200 divided by negative 1 is negative 200. So find your answer here, negative 200. Number 11, we're going to put in a D. So when you get to this problem, y, negative x equals 17, remember that's negative 1x equals 17, and you can solve it from there. On the word problems, again, be sure and write your equation. Okay, flip over to the other side. Here, you are just matching up the words with the expression. So the first problem, 3 less than twice an unknown number. Where you see unknown number, that's your variable. They use n. So twice a number, that's 2n, 3 less than. Well, 3 less than what? 3 less than this. So it's 2n minus 3, not 3 minus 2n. And here it is, and I'm going to color it just like this. And they're probably on here several times. So every time you see that, go ahead and color it just like the picture. I want you to, all of your work is to be turned in before you leave with the substitute with Ms. Gresham. So complete both these sides first, then turn over to the back, complete that, and you should be able to complete it all in class today. But regardless of whether you finish or not, I want you to turn it in and I hope to see some good work from you guys. Please be on your best behavior. You guys are awesome, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday.